Today is Wednesday, October 6th, 2021. Welcome into Dirt Tracker Daily. I'm Justin Fiedler. Coming up, I've got results from last night's kickoff to Super Dirt Week at Brewerton. We take a look at Sheldon Haudenschild's 2021 Outlaw season, plus there's news from X.CELERATED and the Wild West Shootout. Before we get going, if you'd like a free and easy way to support what I'm doing, you can subscribe and follow the show and leave me a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you watch or listen. You can also follow at Dirt Tracker on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. And DirtTracker.com is home to a bunch of cool dirt racing content. Now let's do this. Super Dirt Week is off and running, and the Northeast Big Block Modified competitors might need to prepare themselves for a fight with Matt Williamson. Going back to last Friday night at Fulton Speedway, Money Mat became the first ever Canadian driver to win the Outlaw 200, bagging the $20,000 check. He started deep in that field in 34th, and he didn't take over the lead from Tim Sears Jr. until lap 177. Wanted to make sure I mentioned the Outlaw 200 today because I got called out on YouTube yesterday by David for not mentioning it on the show. Back to Williamson, according to his own standards, he struggled a bit this season, but he might be peaking at just the right time. Obviously, a bunch of big money races coming up, including this week's Super Dirt Week finale. Last night at Brewerton Speedway, Williamson struck again in the Demon 100. He started fourth and battled for much of the race with outside pole sitter Larry White, eventually taking over the lead for good late in the going and picking up the $10,000 payday. Jimmy Phelps ended up second, Peter Britton third, Chris Howe fourth, and Matt Shepard was fifth. Because of COVID, there was no Super Dirt Week in 2020, so Williamson is actually the defending event winner from back in 2019. With the way he's raced over the last few days, we could be talking about the first back-to-back Super Dirt Week winner since Stuart Friesen went 3 straight from 2014 to 2016. Festivities for the event continue today around the area with tech inspection open at Oswego all day long. The parade through town for the cars and competitors starts at noon, and then more racing is on tap tonight at Weed Sport with the 358 and Sportsman Modifieds in action. That program will be available on Dirt Vision if you can't be at Weed Sport. To keep up all week, make sure to head over to superdirtweek.com. As I was putting together my notes for yesterday's show, I made a note about wanting to talk about Sheldon Haudenschild on today's show. Been pretty heavily focused on the guys out front with the World of Outlaws in Sweet, Gravel, and Macedo, and for good reason. Those guys have all won double-digit races like I mentioned yesterday and have been in contention all season long. And on yesterday's show, I was neck-deep in Macedo's $75,000 win and Gravel not being able to make any ground on Sweet in a notoriously not great area for the big cap. But for Haudenschild, it seems as though he's been lost a bit in the mix this year. He took a big step forward in 2020, bagging 7 wins and his first career top 5 points finish. He and crew chief Kyle Ripper really got things going into the summer last season, and I think a lot of folks, myself included, expected them to be more of a serious contender this season. Unfortunately for Sheldon and that team, though, that never really materialized. When you look at Sheldon's 2021 stats versus his 2020 stats, certainly part of the story can be found there. His numbers this year are still very solid, but he's not quite on the pace he was in 2020. His win, top 5, and top 10 percentages are all down just a bit. And while his qualifying average and average feature start are better, his average feature finish is actually just a tick worse. Come feature time, he's not passing as many cars, and that shows in his feature plus minus being down. And he's not protecting his good starts as well either. Both his top 5 and top 10 efficiency numbers are off from 2020. Sheldon finished 4th in the standings last season, and as of now is 6th with a few race nights left. Under normal circumstances, you wouldn't expect a 0.2 of a position drop in average finish to cost you 2 points positions from one year to the next, but I think 2021 has been a bit of a different season. Last year, Sheldon finished ahead of both David Gravel and Carson Macedo, and this season those guys have obviously been near the front a lot. So if you take Sheldon's minuscule drop in performance and add in 2 drivers on the rise, you get a better idea of the full picture. And I think that's the most surprising part for that Stenhouse Jr. Marshall team. With as little as we've talked about them, you would have expected a big drop-off in the results. But that's really not just been the case. They've just been overshadowed by guys that have been much more improved this season. Sheldon does have a career best 8 wins this year, and with that team's ability to get hot and stay hot, they could easily finish 2021 with double-digit victories. If you'd like to see some of these numbers for yourself, head on over to dirttracker.com/analytics. X.CELERATED, which is the promoter behind events this season like the Bristol Dirt Nationals and Texas Dirt Nationals, has made a few different announcements recently that I wanted to cover off on today. First, with Dirt returning to Bristol in 2022, the Bristol Dirt Nationals is expanding to basically 2 weeks of racing next season, with action running from March 20th to April 2nd. There will be 8 nights of super late models, with each feature paying $25,000 to win, and drivers will earn points from each night towards a $100,000 week-long championship. In addition, the promoter has added the Belleville Dirt Nationals to the schedule next season, with Friday and Saturday late model shows paying $25,000 to win and $50,000 to win, respectively. The event is scheduled for June 5th through the 11th, which is a bit curious as it seems those are the dates for the 2022 Dirt Late Model Dream. I'm sure that event will draw some cars with the money available, but I don't see a scenario in which the big names miss Eldora, especially for a first-time event. XR is also creating their very own series, calling it the XR Super Series, which encompasses their events between Bristol, Charlotte, Belleville, Stewart Speedway in Iowa, Texas, and the Duel in the Desert at Las Vegas. If you're a dirt late model competitor, these announcements are great news as they provide different options for some of these weekends, and there is money to be made. I'll be curious, though, to follow the progress of these events and this series, as they're throwing around a lot of money and probably stepping on some toes of the late model establishment in the process. I've seen plenty of other situations like this in the past that didn't survive long, so I'll have to wait and see if these events are supported by fans and competitors, and if they have any sort of staying power. If you'd like more details about these events and the news, visit racexr.com. The Wild West Shootout doesn't take to Vado Speedway Park until January, but the event did have some news yesterday. Penske Racing Sharks has put up a big bonus program for drivers if they're somehow able to sweep the week. 6 wins will earn a driver an additional $300,000. If they win 5, they'd get $100,000, and if they win 4, it's $25,000. With the amount of talent that usually is in attendance for the week, winning all 6 features is probably not super realistic, but 4 definitely is, as we saw Jonathan Davenport win 3 nights in 2021. The week-long event runs from January 8th through the 16th and is at Vado this season after moving over from Arizona Speedway. Remember, Arizona is closing up shop soon. For more info about the Wild West Shootout, check out wildwestshootout.net. You're looking for other dirt racing podcasts this week, there's plenty to choose from. Wing Nation has Spencer Baston, Carson Macedo, and Parker Price Miller. Open Red has Lindsey Barna, the Rigsby Report has Robbie Allen, Suave Talk has Kyle Bronson, Passing Points has Noah Gass, and there are new episodes of Stick Signals, The Dirt Reporters, The Dirt Nerds, and Wednesdays with Wayne. To see the full list of shows and episodes, hit up dirttracker.com/podcasts. And there are 3 shows on the streaming schedule today. Dirt Vision has Micro Action from Millbridge Speedway, and Sportsman and 358 Modifieds at Weed Sport, like I mentioned earlier. And there's also Flow Racing 24/7. To see the full daily streaming schedule with links to watch, visit dirttracker.com/watch tonight. That's it for the show today. Hope you have a good Wednesday. If you have thoughts about the topics on today's show, please leave them in the comments below or tweet at me. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow for more Dirt Tracker Daily.